Hello, thank you so much for choosing this video. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please could you like it, share it, and it'd be great if you could subscribe to the channel. It'll really help me out. Enjoy. On the 8th of September 2005, Elsie Hughes, a widow aged 90, yes 90 years of age, was savagely beaten to death in her home in the quiet village of Abermorvie, close to Caergurley and Hope, around 5 miles outside of Wrexham city centre. It was a house Elsie had peacefully resided in for just under 60 years, bringing children up single-handedly, having been widowed in her 30s. She was extremely popular in the local community and was known to most simply as Auntie Elsie. Having retired from working in a nearby school, she had watched a great many people grow into adulthood and beyond. She was kind, caring and dearly loved. Despite a £100,000 reward, numerous interviews, appeals and investigations, the killer has never been brought to justice. Surely now, with the impending anniversary of 20 years since her passing next year, it is time to find the perpetrator of this heinous crime. A little later in this video, I will visit the street where Elsie lived. Hopefully it may jog someone's memory. However, time has moved on and different people live in her former home, and I don't want to be intrusive or ghoulish in any way. The objective is to nail the person who did this. It appears that the motive for this crime could be theft. Not long before, Elsie was a victim of a distraction burglary where around £1,000 of her life savings were taken. Again, the perpetrators have never been found, despite arrests with subsequent release. It is believed that Elsie interrupted an intruder who made off with less than £200. Before they left, however, they inflicted hideous injuries on poor Elsie, such as a broken nose, broken jaw and extensive bruising. She was found by her granddaughter lying in a pool of blood. Just think about that. Elsie was 90 years of age, defenceless. If there are any small mercies, she was made comfortable before her passing at Wrexham Minor Hospital, and the family publicly thanked the staff for their kindness. They are good people. It makes your blood boil, doesn't it? Someone knows the answer. It could be an ex-partner, friend, relative. It's time for them to come forward and do the right thing. Otherwise, they're just as guilty by shielding them. There were a number of lines of inquiry the police investigated. Arguably, the most significant was the sighting of a suspect slamming the door of Elsie's home around 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. on the night of the murder. The person, let's assume it's a male, was aged between 25 to 30 years of age, wearing a light-coloured baggy hoodie over a dark navy jumper, with dark tracksuit bottoms and white trainers. The trainers were believed to be night court tradition style, sized between adult 7 to 9. The suspect was carrying a Spar carrier bag and jogged down towards Crossways and was believed to be heading towards Hope. The suspect could also have called at the Kowloon Chinese takeaway at the end of Elsie's Road between 6:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. the same evening. Outside the takeaway, police also never discovered the occupants of a parked-up people carrier and may have seen the suspect close up. One of the vehicle's occupants was said to be 40 to 50 at the time, stocky build, not tall, around 5'4", with thinning hair that had touches of grey. He was smartly dressed with a light-coloured shirt open at the collar. Another vehicle, a dark-coloured van, also needed to be traced. However, in something of a twist to the story, it had been scrapped and the two people involved were actually sent to prison due to impeding a murder investigation. So let's all try and find who did this. Please share this video, not for clicks but for justice. Like I said, I'm going to go and visit Elsie's former street now. I'll show you the Kowloon takeaway and you can picture where the people carrier was parked. I'll make my way down past Elsie's house, but like I said, I won't be directly pointing the camera at the property out of respect for the current occupiers. Hopefully it might spark a small memory that could make all the difference. This could have been your mum, your gran, your auntie, your relative, your friend. Let's keep Elsie's memory alive. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just on the corner of Harden Road. And I'll just give you an idea of perspective where I am. So this junction here, Harden Road, actually leads, it's an alternative way to Queensferry. So if you know that area, it's one way you can go. And this road here, this main road, as you can see, Abermorvie, leads to Mould eventually, and then down that way is down towards Wrexham itself, down the Mould Road. We'll have a little wander down Harden Road, and I'll show you a couple of points that I've mentioned earlier. One point to mention as well, as we get towards the houses on the left hand side, at the time of the murder, the houses were actually being renovated by the council. I believe it was the council, and they were actually covered in scaffolding, so they may have been getting new roofs and cladding, that kind of thing. So just cast your mind back to when that was. Also, you got to think about the type of night it was. It was relatively early September, so it still probably could have been quite a balmy night. It may have still been light, just getting a bit dusky. And I think one key thing to think about is if you had a pal or boyfriend or whatever that had some nice Nike trainers, and then all of a sudden they'd lost them or thrown them away or whatever. I mean, they're not cheap, are they? So that would be quite surprising. So we're just coming up in a second to the Chinese takeaway. Now there is a vehicle parked there. I don't want to confuse the issue, but it was said that there was a people carrier parked outside here, not just for a few moments though, where they would be eating a Chinese or takeaway meal, but actually for a number of hours, so it was quite unusual. As you can see, it's relatively small, but it's quite well known and popular. So it was said that the suspect that was identified could have actually gone in there earlier in the night, between 6:30 and 8:30, and then walked a few steps down here, as we'll do. A little bit of wind, hope you can still hear me. So as you can see on the left hand side, these are the style of houses that were being renovated. So it's only literally a matter of a few feet between the Chinese takeaway and where Elsie lived, bless her. So we'll just keep walking down here a little bit. I don't want to film there, but I just panned the camera to the left and that's the actual house in question. Just give a quick glimpse for you. So if you remember somebody slamming that door and then jogging down this road with a light stroke white hoodie on, blue navy jumper underneath, black tracky bottoms, Nike trainers. I mean, there was a bit of a commotion heard as well, which obviously alerted the neighbours to get in touch with the family. Now, when I was researching, I may have slightly misinformed. It may have been Elsie's daughter who discovered Elsie, not her granddaughter. It could have been both of them, so I apologise for that. So, I think, given that we're 20 years on next year, the advances in forensics and particle investigation, where they can take a grain of sand or a little bit of mud, a breadcrumb, tea leaf, whatever it might be, and create some kind of trace evidence. I think it's really, really vitally important that, however insignificant you think something might be, just let the police know. They haven't closed the case, it's still open. So anybody who's bothered about grassing, as the saying goes, I don't think the rules apply when it comes to hurting anybody or anything that is vulnerable. An old lady who's frail, defenceless, and not as mobile as they used to be. So whatever you know, I think you should come forward, however insignificant, and get the police told. I'm going to do a few of these unsolved murders, but This one really bothers me. And I just want to point out that at the moment my channel isn't monetised. I'm a long way off that, to be honest. I've only got a small channel. So anybody who thinks I'm doing it for financial gain, this video, you're incorrect, you're wrong. So please feel free to share it. So there we are, Harden Road, Abermorvie. And let's all remember Elsie Hughes, Auntie Elsie.